In the previous part 1 video, we talked about current IT infrastructure pain points, what Puppet Discovery is all about. Now in this part 2 video, how about we dive into a demo? Now this part would be useful to technical users. Here is one of my AWS Lab console. At this point, I have only limited EC2s running under this account. I tossed away many instances from different POCs. This should be okay. This has a different OS such as RHEL, CentOS and Windows to cover the basic Unix-like and Windows. Now we're gonna log into Puppet Discovery instance. Let me get the public DNS name. Authentication, that would be my PuTTY private key file. This is CentOS, so CentOS at so and so public DNS name. I'm becoming root. I don't have any Docker or Puppet running. I'm gonna bring up Docker. Puppet Discovery runs on Docker container. It uses one Docker container for each of its component. Note to sysadmins, as you may know, you could also configure Docker to start on boot up by using sudo system control enable docker command. I'm going to start Puppet Discovery. It asks for admin password. That's the password you would configure as part of your Puppet Discovery installation. Puppet Discovery is up. It's available in host name. Here we would be using our public DNS name at port 8443. It's available. I'm using Puppet Discovery version 1.3. That's the latest one as of yesterday. Looks like something came up today. It says new version available. I would update it later. It shows this site is not secure. Well, I haven't applied any security certificate. It's just a POC environment, so that's okay. What we are doing here is we are trying to log into Puppet Discovery dashboard. Here we go. So the Discovery dashboard shows the number of hosts available and number of packages available across all my hosts and the containers. These are the Docker containers. I have Docker containers only within Puppet Discovery as part of Puppet Discovery installation. I don't have any other containers. We're gonna take a look at this in detail in a bit. Before that, let's take a look at the sources. On the right side, what we see is the source that I have configured. So presently I have configured this only to discover my resources within my AWS particular lab account. And as we have seen from our deck, it supports other sources. Besides AWS, it supports GCP, Azure, VMware, and on-prem you could add it by IP addresses. If you click on the IP addresses, it could support you with a range, or you can give a CDAR block range, or you could also upload IP addresses via CSV. I have configured Puppet Discovery with my AWS credentials, so Puppet Discovery can get insight into my AWS resources. PD stores my credentials in a vault. That's one of its component, runs on a separate Docker container. The keys, password, everything would be completely encrypted. Now let's go back to the home page, the Discovery dashboard. So as you can see, you can get insights into all your IT resources, currently only my AWS resources. You could see the number of hosts, number of packages available across all the hosts, the number of containers, and the host that has Puppet. So currently I have only 67% of my hosts, that is about 4 instances that has Puppet agent installed. Other 33% don't have 0% unknown, meaning it has explored all my hosts. It doesn't have to say anything that's unknown. If you have any host that's down, it's not up and running, it would bucket them under the unknown category because Puppet Discovery has yet to explore those hosts. Next one is uptime less than 24 hours. All my hosts are up for less than 24 hours. That is true. I just brought them up this morning, and yesterday I was playing with them for some time, and I brought it down. So this stat is right. My OS, I have 3 Red Hat, 2 CentOS, 1 Windows. As far as my Linux distribution, I have 60% on Red Hat, another 40% on CentOS. That's 3 to 5 nodes. That is the same number that you see on the Unix-like one, Linux distribution side. On Windows, I have a Windows Server 2012 R2 standard. As far as cloud instances by region, all my hosts are running in US East 1. These are the container images. This is from the Puppet Discovery host. Before we get into detail on each one of these, let me show you a static image. This is just a static image taken from Puppet website. Here in this environment, it has 1519 hosts and about 250,000 packages across all these hosts and 50 containers. 22% of the hosts has Puppet, Uptime, Top OS, CentOS, Debian, Windows, Ubuntu, Red Hat, Fedora, Linux distribution numbers, Windows numbers, top cloud instance by region, top containers by image. This is the kind of view you would see when you have a big server farm that consists of on-prem and cloud instances. Now back into our dashboard. Let me also refresh this one so that you know this is not a static image. Alright, let's start drilling from the host. So here I see all my host name. Let's pick either one of them, and these are the attributes, metadata about the host. Typically you would get this via API call using AWS API. It gives you the DNS name, host name, all the stuff. Important thing is it shows you all the services that are in this host. It could be in a running state or a stopped state. It gives you all the services. Now you could also start and stop these services. We're gonna get into that in a moment. It gives you the users associated with this host and the groups. More importantly, packages. This is my favorite part. There are 334 packages on this host. Remember, we are drilling down into a host. All this tab gives host specific info. If I want to search for a particular package, for instance, I wanted to see if this host has Apache web server. As you may know, HTTPD is the package name for Apache web server. Yes, this host has HTTPD, that is Apache web server. One another thing what you can see is while I searched for HTTPD, it also pulled HTTPD tools into the result, meaning it applies wildcard character in the search. That's really good. So in this scenario, we are into a host specific details and searched for a particular package name to see if it is in that particular host. In a different scenario, in a larger server farm, if you want to search for a package name across hosts, there is a different way. We'll show you in a moment. Let's go on to tags. This is the tag that's getting pulled from my EC2 tag. Let's go on to container. I don't have any containers in this host. Let's go on to home page. I'm just re-recording one specific portion to show few features. Since this package portion of re-recording is being done after PD 1.4 install, you may see different numbers here compared to what you have seen earlier. That is okay, understandable. As part of PD 1.4 installation, there are some additional containers got added, some additional packages got added. Alright, now there is a news on a particular package vulnerability breaks out. You want to quickly go and search to see if you have that package and also find out on what host that package is located. Here we are clicking on the packages from the home page. This shows all the packages across all my hosts. So I have 2431 packages across all my 6 hosts. Let us see on how many hosts I have Apache web server. I have 3 instances of Apache web server running. Let's go and see on what host it's running. It's on these 3 different hosts. Also shows the OS version, Red Hat, along with its version. Alright. So this way you can quickly find out if you have a particular package in your entire hybrid infrastructure. Here in this demo, we have only my specific AWS account configured. If you have additional sources such as on-prem other CSPs configured, you would see all IT assets and associated packages, everything under one dashboard. So when a news on a particular package vulnerability breaks, you can come here and search for the package, find impacted hosts, and accordingly patch them up. If you use Puppet Enterprise, note that's a different product from Puppet. If you use Puppet Master, that is Puppet Enterprise, for your infrastructure automation and CM automation, you could write your patch up script in Puppet Master server and push that to as many nodes as impacted at once. Could be in tens or hundreds or thousands, rather than going to each individual host to patch it up. Right? Again, that's Puppet Enterprise or Puppet Master. That's a different product from Puppet Discovery. So within this Puppet Discovery scope, what we are talking is search for a package name and see a list of hosts where you have such a package, if you happen to have it at all. How about we go search for other package ACL. Like when I searched for HTTPD, it pulled the HTTPD tools. It applied wildcard character at the end. Here you could see it applied wildcard character at the beginning too. So typically it applies wildcard character at both beginning and end. Here 4 instances of ACL, and it's in these 4 hosts. Let's go search for PHP. I want to show you one another thing. Here I typed PHP in lowercase. If you see the result, we see PHP in uppercase. What that means is the search is case insensitive. That's really good because you cannot remember all packages by their right appropriate uppercase and lowercase if the search were to be case sensitive. So here it uses case insensitive way of search and also applies wildcard character at the beginning and at the end. That would be helpful to easily search for a package and locate them. Now let's go back to the home page. Containers. These are my Puppet Discovery containers, the Docker containers that comes as part of your Puppet Discovery installation. And within each container the package is what. If I go to other ones, Puppet is installed on all these 4 out of my 6. Uptime less than 24, that's all my 6. I have other filters here, greater than 24 should be none. unknown host. That means the hosts that haven't gone through discovery exploration, that is 0 at this point. Red Hat in a big server farm, this would be really useful. It's gonna show you all your whole operating system in this drop down. Then you can filter Windows. Either I go through Windows from here, or I go through my Windows one from here, since I have only one host with Windows. This is what we're gonna see. Some attribute metadata about my host. Then we can look at the services that's either stopped or running. It's gonna show all the services on that Windows server, users, groups, 23 groups, packages, all my packages that's on the Windows server. That's a server that has IIS, PHP, and MySQL. So you see those packages here. Tags. This is my AWS tag. No containers on this one. Likewise, when you get into the Linux distribution, it's gonna show you, see the results. The other thing what we wanted to show you is how to add sources, credentials. We can take a look at it during the next section, that would be installation and configuration. We're gonna get into the run task in a moment. Alright, let's take a look at the run task. You could install Puppet Agent on a Linux or Windows node. Then you can manage services on Linux or Windows. The Linux would cover all Linux like Unix like ones. So your CentOS, RHEL, everything is covered under this Linux one. Let's go back. Let's start and stop a service from Puppet Discovery console. Console here, I mean the Puppet Discovery dashboard. So within Agent 512 demo node, I have a simple web app. So here, if I go to the URL, I have a simple web app that's running on top of my Apache web server. Let's go stop this Apache web server. Again, the name is Agent 512 demo and EC2 18.2.12.248, and that is the one we are looking at here. Now let's go to our Puppet Discovery, run task, choose a task. That would be manage service on Linux. Action would be to stop. Name, that would be my service name, HTTPD. Now select host. Here you can select more than one host, as you can see. If you want to quickly bring down a particular service across many nodes, you can use this. From one click you can do that. Now we're gonna stop HTTPD on that particular node. That's my RHEL. So if we go look at it here, that's my RHEL. And as part of my installation and configuration of the tool, I have given credentials to start and stop tasks. When it comes to RHEL, that would be EC2 user. That's the username, for standard username for your RHEL AWS instances, and that's the name I have configured with. So let's take a look at the task summary. I'm gonna stop HTTPD, and here is my credential, and I'm gonna stop it in this particular node. Alright, let's run the task. It's in progress. Currently, discover data is also in progress every 30 minutes once. That's the default interval. The discover data job runs, and it's gonna scan across all the hosts that's configured with, and it will bring the latest data to the console. Well, it's failed, and it's understandable because currently it's working on the stale data. It's trying to connect to EC2 528793, whereas my Agent 512 demo, that's on EC2 18.2.12.248. So the last time when my discovery ran, this is the associated public DNS name. I don't have any elastic IP on this node, so that goes with the public DNS name. And the last time it ran, this is the discovered host name. Now when I brought up all my servers this morning, obviously the public DNS name is different. When I try to execute the task, it goes with the info what it has, and that info is a stale info, so it failed. Now that our discovery task had run, let's go take a look at the task. It all succeeded. It hits the AWS once, gets the metadata for all the hosts, then spans separate jobs for each one of the hosts, and gets all the facets, the data about that host. So now if you were to run the task to stop that HTTPD, that should go fine. How about we go test that one out? Let's go back, run task. That would be manage service on Linux, stop HTTPD, select host, Agent 512 demo, select credentials, that would be my rel, easy to user, review task summary, everything looks good, run task. Let's go look at the progress. It's running. Yep, it's succeeded. Let's go test that from the web page URL. While it was running my task, it's also trying to explore from that host. Alright, let's go and let's refresh. Yeah, it works. It stopped the service. How about we bring up the service in the same way how we did. This time we would go and say start instead of stop, and that would be HTTPD, select host, 512, agent 512, select credentials, easy to user, review task summary, looks good, run the task. Let's go look at it here. Now it has to bring up my HTTPD service. That's my Apache web server. It has completed the task successfully, and here we see the results. It could able to bring up my service back up. Alrighty. Before we summarize our demo, let's take a quick look at what it would take to install Puppet Agent. So we have seen manage services, and if we have to install Puppet Agent on a node that doesn't have Puppet Agent, typically if you had installed a Puppet Agent, you would specify where your Puppet master is, and certificate related details, and the DNS alternate name for your Puppet master. So here you would enter all those details and get to the select host, where you can select multiple hosts, and with one click you can install Puppet Agent onto all selected nodes. Alright, let's wrap up our demo portion. Just so to quickly summarize, you can get insights into all your IT resources. You can see what runs on them, packages installed, uptime stat, and take action from a dashboard. This include standard hosts to containers such as Dockers in a hybrid environment. You don't need Puppet Agent installed on the nodes for discovery. This could be an alternate to CMDB with additional features. Also, this lets you start and stop services. You could install Puppet Agents, shows you how many nodes have Puppet Agent on them and how many don't have. So this would be also useful if your organization initially starts with a few nodes on the configuration management automation, infrastructure automation using Puppet Enterprise and Puppet Agents, and if you plan to roll it out across all nodes, so this would be one place where you can see how many of your nodes have been automated with Puppet Agent and how many don't have Puppet Agent yet. You can add sources from on-prem to AWS, Azure, and the Google Cloud. You can also do this by IP address range and see what's on them from one dashboard. For cloud resources, it takes cloud account credentials and scans the host under the account. Source authentication credentials are encrypted and stored securely in the vault. It uses SSH, WinRM when it comes to Windows machines, and public cloud APIs to connect. Features like search by package across entire infrastructure would be really useful. If news breaks on a particular package vulnerability, such search would be useful to identify impacted nodes, to patch them and bring them up to date. While this first version discovers compute resources and what's inside those compute resources, Puppet Discovery has network resource discovery on their roadmap. That's all for the demo.